What's up and welcome back to Cleats to Whistle podcast. I am Brad Valdez and this is episode 10. Today we have Kyle Perry. He is the Bellarmine University offensive coordinator here in Louisville, Kentucky. And finally, man, welcome to the podcast, man.
Yeah, man, we've been talking for quite a while and just, staying busy, finishing school teaching and finally getting on here after spring ball and getting all that stuff taken care of. So happy to be on.
Yeah, man. I this guy was like, we tried to get it a couple of times, man. I was like, man, this guy's gonna big time me now. You know what I mean?
No, not that.
No, man. But we are here. I actually coached with Kyle 2 seasons ago.
Yep. 2 years ago.
At Doss High School. This guy was the offensive coordinator there as well. And I just want to give him some praise real quick, man, because we text, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I put this guy in high praise, man. Like I've told you. I was like, this guy right here is actually a phenomenal coach, man. He is a fiery guy. And I already put it on him, man. I anointed him already. He is going to be a Hall of Fame high school coach when it's his turn, man. When he wants it, it's going to be there for him, man.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Hall of Fame, that's pretty big. So we'll see. I'm only 30.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Already an OC at the college level, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. That's what I say, man. This guy is nothing but the football knowledge that he has is excellent. I actually learned a lot of stuff too. You know what I mean? Because that was the first time I was coaching O-line in 10 years.
Kind of going into it together.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and shout out to my guy Renardo Foster.
Yep.
Basically everything that I learned offensive line wise is from him. Whenever I coached with him at DeSales. So nice. And we're just gonna jump into the podcast, man. And did you grow up in Louisville? Yeah, I grew up in Louisville. So I always kind of joke with my players that I always talk about Wyandotte. But I literally did. I grew up right across the street from Wyandotte Park, over off Taylor Boulevard, and that's kind of close to where I bought my house, and that's where I live now. Until I make the Hall of Fame, as you say. So,
yeah, I guess I shouldn't have put that out on the podcast, man. But like I say, that it's there for the taking for this guy, man, and it's gonna be a fun ride. So, look up his name, Kyle Perry. He's a good dude, man. So, did you play any youth ball when you were growing up, and what high school did you attend?
So actually all the way up until I got to my high school, I played the big three sports: baseball, basketball, football. And a lot of people don't know this, maybe my close friends, but baseball was my best sport.
Really?
So baseball was my best sport. I was stealing bases like it was my job. And little brag on myself, the first year, which would have been my 8th grade year, moved to 90-foot bases, and you're able to lead off and steal and do all that.
Yep.
I had 13 stolen bases in one game. So, my coach that year basically just kind of let me do whatever I wanted.
He says, "Fuck it, just go ahead and go."
Yeah, man. He let me do whatever I wanted, and it worked out. And we were bunch of South End kids just playing baseball over off Lee's Lane.
Nice.
So it's not there anymore, but kind of like the last of the Mohicans out off Lee's Lane. So, but yeah, and then after that, got to DeSales, or before that, in my 8th grade year, we won city at St. Nicholas. Shout out to Our Lady of Lourdes in Louisville. We beat them twice in a row to go to the Toy Bowl, and then we beat Notre Dame. So that was a great time. The first year for St. Nicholas that it was an actual school, we won city.
Nice.
So, and then I got to DeSales. My freshman year, it was we actually had like something in the newspaper about our freshman class coming in.
Okay.
And a bunch of our kids that were at St. Nicholas together went right to DeSales. So my freshman year, we went 10-0 as a freshman football team. We beat some pretty big schools. So that always felt pretty good, and literally the very next year as sophomores, we had 11 sophomores who started offense and defense for varsity.
Nice.
And that kind of just multiplied, and we got better with them. There was a lot of games where kind of got manhandled by older guys.
Yeah.
You had a bunch of 17, 18-year-olds in high school playing against 14, 15-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, my sophomore year, our starting quarterback was a sophomore. My friend Andrew Beeler, he started fullback. He was a sophomore. And then I started tailback, and I was a sophomore. So, and of course, we ran the wing tee, so you have multiple running backs and multiple different things that you can do. But yeah, 11 sophomores started both offense and defense. So it was fun, man, and I wouldn't trade going to DeSales for anything.
That's awesome. And did you get a scholarship or anything, or did you walk on, or what did you do after? Did you play college ball?
Question of the year.
Yeah.
So I was one of those kids that I tried to talk to now about what not to do, because I knew what I did not let me go. Grades weren't as good as they could have been. During football season, I did everything I could just to stay on the field.
Yep. And
that's not good enough. As soon as football's over, didn't really care. So grades are probably the reason. Me and my buddy Beeler, we had talked about maybe going to EKU and walking on because they wanted him, and I wanted to go. I mean, I was good enough to be somewhere, but grades, you know, they weren't even looking at me. They kind of wanted him, and we agreed that we were going to go, and then some things happened, and you know, he kind of didn't want to go anymore, which is perfectly fine. And to be completely honest, you know, it was more of a scared thing. Didn't want to go by myself and do all that. So, you know, my idiot self ended up going away to college by myself anyways, to a place that didn't have football.
Right.
So,
well, it's kind of crazy is because I actually didn't play my senior year because of grades, man. So you got two, you got two idiots sitting right here talking on a podcast, and you know what I mean? Get your grades, man.
Yeah, but it's crazy. So I have one class left until I'm done with grad school.
Nice.
And I have a 3.9 GPA in grad school. So make that make sense. I don't know. When you're young, don't wait. Freshman year, sophomore year, get the stuff done, please.
Yes.
And then you'll have, you know, hopefully guys higher than me contacting you about coming to play football at their school.
Yes. And it's so, and that's like one of my biggest regrets ever is not playing my senior year. That's, man, I hate it. And that's why I see these kids, man, they, you know, some of them, they don't know what they got. You know what I mean? No, and you try telling them, and they're like, oh, whatever. But once you don't get that senior season, you feel like a piece of crap the rest of your life, man.
And I hear it now. I hear it now, especially, you know, being a college coach. Well, coach, I got a 3.4 my senior year. Would you do the other three, man? So please, it would behoove you, get your stuff done earlier in your high school career, and it'll help you in the long run.
Yes.
Do not wait until there's 6 months left of school and now you're stumbling trying to get everything done.
Yes. Listen to the man right here. And what is there a number that you wore, and was there like a meaning behind what number you wore?
Yeah. So I'm a huge Niners fan, right? But I liked Emmitt Smith. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a double-edged sword there a little bit. So my 8th grade year, I wore 22. And then my freshman year, we didn't have 22. In our old school, and some of my former teammates will understand, but our jerseys basically looked like nuns' dresses. They were so big.
They're so big, yeah.
Even with our pads on, the jerseys came down to here.
Oh,
so
man.
They didn't have 22, so I wore 19. And then my sophomore year, you know, big varsity player, so to speak, and they did it by class. So if you were a junior, you got ranks over the sophomores. I'm picking your number.
Gotcha.
Just so happened there was a kid 1 grade above me who wanted 22. So he gets it. So I go 19. So I wore 19 my freshman, sophomore, junior year. And all of my, you know, everybody knows when they're watching film, like, I'm 19.
Right.
There he is. There's 19. There's 19. Well, then my senior year I show up and I'm wearing 22. And I'm sure, you know, I'm not saying, you know, I'm wowing anybody, but I'm sure a couple schools are going, who the hell is this?
Exactly.
And so looking back, I wish I would have probably just stuck with 19.
19.
Because, you know, I kind of made that me a little bit.
Yeah.
And then switched to 22. But Yeah, probably should have just stuck with 19.
Nice, man. Nice. That's a good story, even though you're Emmitt Smith, and that's one of the guys. I hated Emmitt Smith. You know what I mean? Probably everybody did.
Yeah, man, a lot of people do, but he's one of those running backs that longevity, and you don't see it now.
You don't.
You'll get maybe 6 good years out of an NFL running back now, and they're out of the league.
Yep.
But I mean, that man did it for a long time.
Yep. And okay, now the next question is, do you have any mentors that you'd want to shout out right now, man?
Yeah, so first and foremost, the guy who actually gave me a chance at any coaching at all, his name's Mark Sander. And if anybody knows Mark Sander, a long-term, DeSales guy. He was my head coach when I was in high school. And shout out to him. He's actually on the staff at University of Louisville now, coaching football over there. Very well deserved. I know when he left coaching college football in Florida, and he basically was begged to come and coach at DeSales and kind of bring that football program back to life after years of not doing very well, and he did just that. So shout out to Mark Sander, and then also shout out to our head coach at Bellarmine, Harold Davis. He took that program from where Mark could walk with it, and I mean he just took off with a full sprint, and 2 state championships later, he gets offered the job at Bellarmine, and the only 2 state championships that DeSales has in football, by the way. So shout out to him and those 2 guys for giving me a chance.
Nice. I love that, man. I love that. And it's great because you know what I mean, you're actually back with Harold, you know what I mean, at Bellarmine. So this is a great fit, man.
Yeah, and I was actually, the OC at Dawson, and then it gets announced that he's going to go to Bellarmine, and I didn't even really think about going to Bellarmine. I thought that was just way out of my reach.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's thinking outside the box. He's going to bring some guys in for this, and and lo and behold, all it took was a text to him and come over and talk.
Love it, man. Love
it. And also I do want to shout out, rest in peace, but Ty Scroggins, without coaching with Ty at DeSales, almost everything that I do offensively has come from his base. So it's definitely branched out more and more. But, I mean, just the basic terminology that I learned from him and how to read stuff and how to do this and that, definitely learned a lot from that guy too.
Nice. And I actually did have that in my notes. It was Ty's influence to you.
Go. Yeah, man. I mean, just hearing all the stories from him back at Central.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy stuff. I mean, stuff that you wouldn't be able to do it now. You'd be maybe on the news. But I mean, and he really is one of the few guys that I've met in my life that when he walks into a room, he never says a word, but he's in the room. It's like, it's just Ty Scroggins. And anybody out there who's met him, exactly what I'm talking about. When he walks in the room, he's in there. And every time he doesn't say a lot, but when he does talk, you're listening.
Nice. I love that, man, because I just hear a lot of good things about him. I met him once, and man, I was intimidated. Just you know what I mean?
Man.
I was just like, whoa, man.
Yeah, and it's so funny, everybody. He's universally known as Big Dog.
Yep.
And me being me, I call people by their names. I'm not going to call you, any nicknames, and everybody's calling him Big Dog, and I'm like, well, I'll be damned if I'm calling another grown man Big Dog. But I mean, he was, man. He really, really, really was. You knew where he was at all times if he was around you. Nice.
Yeah, so that's his mentor. So shout out to the mentors, man, that has brought this guy up and has made him a great coach. But with that, what wanted you to get into coaching?
So this is a true story. So I graduated from DeSales, went away for a year to school, came back. I needed a place to work out. And, I kind of finagled my way into DeSales' weight room when Coach Sander was still there. And I kind of finagled my way and kind of used, verbiage of, well, I'll coach if you need some help, just so I could use the weight room. And, and maybe 10 years later, 11 years later, here I am.
Nice.
So shout out to Coach Sander once again for letting me use the weight room and getting me in there.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. So you just started lifting and
just started working out because I was 18, 19 years old. I didn't have any money, and I thought, well, hell, I can go to my old high school for free and work out. And so that's originally where it started. And I didn't coach offense back then.
Okay.
I coached corners for freshmen at DeSales. And heel click, all that other stuff. So I did defense first. So if anybody out there's, getting their first shot at coaching high school football and it's not what you want to do, just get your foot in the door.
Yep.
You'll be okay. Don't whine about it. Just do it and show people what you know, and then you'll get what you want.
Okay, and now with this question, I actually asked them off camera, and it's because when you're in high school, man, you're coaching, you know what I mean, like kids that are just there, you know what I mean, because we call ourselves, sometimes we're babysitters. You know what I mean, actually in high school. But I asked him, what's it like to actually coach, like, what I'm thinking is like-minded kids. And I know kids are kids. I was 18, 19, 20 years old, and I was an idiot.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. I was just wondering how it is coaching at that next level, even though it is okay. And what is the league called, though?
So it's a sprint football league.
Okay.
So it's, in the number one question I always get about it is, oh, that's 8-man football. No, it's not. Sprint football is college football. It is 15-minute quarters. It is every single aspect of the game is college football, except you got to be 178 pounds. So the thing is you weigh in on Thursday. So Tuesday is like your warning day.
Okay.
So you go to weigh in on Tuesday if you're $183. You have 2 days to drop that weight. So we lift in the mornings at Bellarmine, and you're 178, you're good to go. But game days, you can be 190. So it's almost a wrestling aspect to that, where you got to cut weight. Your walk around weight's a little bit different. Then you cut, and then you do this and that, and a lot of our guys love it because, you'll see guys get to that level and they're gaining weight, and now your college career is done, and you're 335 pounds and you don't know what to do with yourself.
Right.
So I am a fan of that because it does. It keeps you in shape. It keeps you fit, so to speak. And it doesn't give anybody a reason to blow up like that. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. And then now let's get back to that one question I did. Coaching like-minded kids.
Yeah.
This is the one. We got off topic. That was my fault.
So like-minded kids, and how to word this. There's not, only because most of our kids last season were true freshmen. So they are 17, 18, maybe a couple of them 19 years old.
Right.
They're still in high school mentally. So 100, and it's the first year they're away from mommy and daddy, and they're still, still not able to get up for class. And you've got to do all that stuff on your own, man. You got to wash your own underwear. We're not there to baby you.
Yep.
We're not your babysitter. You are at a collegiate level, and every other sport on Bellarmine's campus is D1. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, you're walking around with other collegiate athletes that they're doing the same thing you are.
Yep.
Like, look at the basketball team. Look at the stuff that they're doing. You don't see Scott Davenport knocking on doors at 7 a.m. You know what I mean? So we're not going to do that either, and we shouldn't be made to do that.
Right.
So if you are an incoming freshman at the college level, do whatever you need to do to get up and take care of your stuff. Go to workouts, go to class, go to practice, and go eat and go to bed and study. So if you're not willing to do that, then just go to school. That's the sacrifice you make playing college football. So like-minded kids, the majority of them are still in high school. Granted, we had a couple of anomalies who were freshmen who did come in, and they acted like they were 20, 22 years old.
Right, nice.
And those are the kids that are coming back. So, and the kids that are coming back, man, they took care of their stuff. A couple of them dug themselves in a hole first semester, and proud as hell proud as hell of the ones who did understand and realize, oh no, this is not JV ball anymore. I've got to get myself up, and a couple of them had to take a little more hours during second semester. Hey, you dug it. Get yourself out.
Right.
And so, in the ones who came back, proud of you guys for doing that, man. If you guys get a chance to listen to this, proud as hell of you, and excited to get back to work with you all. So incoming freshmen that are coming in, listen to the older guys. All right. And we do have, I think we were the oldest team in the league. We had a couple kids who were, 22, 25. We had a 32-year-old. Yeah, and he's actually coming back. So shout out to Cameron Broussard. He's coming back for another year. So we're coming.
I love it, man. Yeah. I love it, man. He actually is on Twitter. If you want to give him a follow, I will actually put his Twitter right here so you can actually go follow Kyle, man. And this guy, I'm telling you, man, he's a name that you're not going to want to forget. Like I say, he is at Bellarmine University, the offensive coordinator there, Kyle Perry. We have a couple more questions, man, and then we'll get you out of here. How do you feel about your offense this year? Are you going to put more in, or are you just going to keep it just bread and butter, man? Just keep it even.
Yeah. So last year, I was just a running backs coach, and then so now I kind of got promoted to be OC, and I knew that if this time ever came, I knew day one what I would want to run. I had a pretty big influence on the offense last year, so it's not like nobody listened, and we did with what we could.
Yeah.
But shout out to Brendan Reed. He's one of the kids that came in and did everything that was asked him to do and more. He won offensive MVP of the league last year, and quite frankly, I think he's the best player in the league. So you'll. If you keep up with Bellarmine, you'll definitely hear his name a lot. The kid went both ways last year. Started offense, defense, kickoff. It's kind of like that Booby Miles from Friday Night Lights. He'll fill the water coolers and he can pass. So and the kid is just he's just a wonderful athlete, but he's a great human being.
Nice.
And just being around him makes you want to coach better.
Yep.
So as far as offense, we're gonna run the ball of a one back set. We're also gonna bring that other back in there, and we're gonna do that. And I want my quarterback to make quick decisions, make his read, and let's live with it and let's go. And also a question that I get all the time is, well, sprint football, that's fast, so everybody's no huddle. No, it's college football, man. Not everybody's doing this Art Browse, Chip Kelly stuff where nobody's huddling and we're just looking over to the sideline. No. We're still huddling. We will have, some up-tempo stuff. Depends on who we're playing and what we're doing down in distance and, what hash we're on in the middle of the field. And what depends on what all that is. But we got a couple good transfers in. They came to us. We got a new quarterback, a new running back, a couple receivers that are coming in that are transferred in. We actually got a center. So he went to college football to play center, and he ballooned up to about 270. And then, like I said earlier, he was done, didn't know what to do with himself. So He dropped a bunch of weight. One of his old teammates kind of, mentioned his name. So I look him up. Hey, man, what are you doing? And so he transferred to Bellarmine. So he's coming in. And in the first year, and last year, we only had about 5 offensive linemen.
Right.
So one gets hurt, we're in trouble.
Right.
This year coming in, we're going to have about 13. So it's a huge difference. We changed the way we recruited. We changed the way, the type of kids that we were going to get. And it really is, man. Like, I mean, I would even look up a kid's parent. How do they talk? What are they putting on Twitter? And it matters, and it matters, and it matters. And, being in this position, you definitely look at it from a different point of view. And we had to if we wanted different results.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is the last question. Now you already mentioned Reed, man.
Yeah.
Is there any other players that you'd want to spotlight and just tell the people, man, if you come to Bellarmine, man, and you watch their games, this is who you need to watch?
Well, so do you want kids who are incoming or kids who were there last year or both?
Just whoever you think is going to be the dogs.
Oh, well.
Who do you think are the dogs are out there, man?
So I'll mention a couple names, and I'll even mention a couple names on defense. Brendan Reed obviously is going to be a huge focal point. And I will say, everybody listening is probably wanting me to say a bunch of stuff about skill kids. We have 3 out of the 5 offensive linemen returning. So Anakin Harris, Cameron Broussard, Roy Shrout, they're all returning. And these are guys that can play. And Roy actually last year played the whole season with one hand. So he's playing guard with a cast on his hand. He can't grab, he can't push and shove, he can't do any of that. So Roy's back to 100%, and he's using both hands, man. So we expect a lot if you're watching, Roy, a lot from him. Anakin is Anakin. If you ever met the kid, you would know that you met him. He probably texts me every day of him working out, and appreciate it a lot, Anakin. And then Cameron, he's the 33-year-old, but Cam is Cam. You know what you're going to get every day. He's 3 years older than me, so he actually coaches his son's football team.
Okay,
which is Pee Wee, I guess you would say.
Yep.
But literally, our practice would get done, and he'd go straight to his son's practice and coach. So he's just another football guy, man. And then let's see a name on the outside. So we have a couple kids coming in, and if I don't mention your name, it doesn't mean that we don't think that you're going to be any good, because I know how kids are nowadays. You talk about one, you got to talk about all of them, but we only got so much time. Some incoming kids that we expect to make a big impact. A kid named Tyler Smith, Kobe Biggerstaff, Garrett Price G. He actually went to DeSales. Let's see. So Cameron Spalding, he went to Atherton. We got him. A kid named, so we have a kid coming in. His name's Derek Gant. And if that name sounds familiar, he was a absolute all-star at PRP. And so we got him, and he came from a school. He went down to Miami, I think. Don't quote me. But he had foot surgery. So he had broken a bone in his foot, I think, which kind of set him back quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I just got a text the other day saying that the doctor gave him the okay to run full speed. And if he's able to run full speed, then our league might be looking to try to remedy some of that.
Right.
So, but I mean, he's a kid that's going to come in, and we expect a lot. Now, expectations are that, that's just what we expect.
Right.
Somebody else could come in, a name that I did not mention, and absolutely blow us away. And that probably will happen. Absolutely. And then on defense, we got a couple guys that are coming back. Corbin Barnett, an absolute, maybe one of the smartest kids that I've ever had to call plays against in practice, because he already knows.
Diagnosed and everything, yep.
I'm not kidding. Like last year in spring ball, and he's playing out of position in spring ball. He's usually a rover safety guy, and he's over at corner. And I'm literally standing in the huddle about to give the play, and I look over, and he's staring at me. And so he knows what's coming, and he knows what he's doing. He knows what to read, and he's a hell of a football player. He's just, over time, he needs to just, stay grounded and take care of stuff. And then also Caleb Murray. So he's from Florida. He's another Florida boy. We had a couple Florida kids come up. Jordan Hayward. So he's coming back. Demarie Ewing. So we call him D. He's coming back. And Devin Hendricks. So he's coming back. And Devin and Cameron actually had senior day last year. That's all they wanted to play. And then season ends and they're done. And then, like I said, man, all it took was a couple texts, and Devin is actually a phenomenal wrestler for Bellarmine.
Okay.
So I mean, he is an absolute animal, and he's in my opinion, he's just as good at football as he is at wrestling. So those are a couple guys on defense. We have a ton of incoming freshmen who are going to make an impact right away. So like I said, if I didn't mention your name, it's not because I don't think you're good. We just don't have enough time to mention 60 players on a podcast.
Yes, I'm very excited about this, man. I'm hoping I can get out there and actually like a live stream a game, or actually get some, go to a practice and maybe bring some of these guys on, man. Because You know what I mean? I'm trying to bring like community awareness,
absolutely,
and help you guys out somehow. I'm trying to do something different. Like I said, I'm trying to like transition out of coaching maybe, and do something good for the community and these coaches, man, because the dedication that you guys do, man, it's never ending, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the stuff you do. You know, you've been there already, man. So now you're just trying to, you know, reach your hand out and give back.
And that's it. Yeah, man. And it's actually crazy that you said that, you know, about trying to get the word out, because, you know, I wear Bellarmine football stuff everywhere, and people look at me funny and they'll go, Bellarmine has a football team? Yep. You should probably check it out. So yeah, I mean, I know we were on the news a couple times last year, but and I mean, and shout out to Michael Wheatley. He's our corners coach, and he's an absolute dog recruiting. Our first year, we didn't really know what we were doing.
Right.
And he was kind of on an island by himself, and basically he brought in a bunch of guys that by himself. And then, you know, year 2 comes around, and a bunch of other coaches made a lot more contributions, and it shows. We're getting numbers of kids, and we're getting, you know, the caliber of kids that we want. Not that we have to take, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yep. So this has been an amazing podcast. Listen, Kyle Perry, don't forget the name. He is the Bellarmine University offensive coordinator. He's gonna be a bright young star. I'm excited, man. But like I always say, everyone has a story, and I'm here for them to tell it. Cleats to Whistle podcast.